So you know the so Linux user administration, right? The same way the AWS console works on the works same like as a Linux administration. So we have a two types of users. One is a root user and the normal users. So normal is nothing but a IAM user. Root user is nothing but a root user. So in Linux, same like as a root user having all the privileges. So right, and IAM user having certain limit of permissions. So what are there in the normal that user administrations, normal users, group, right, groups, users, right here. So we have a users, groups, roles, and permissions. Roles and permissions. I will tell you. Based on that, they created the that permission in the AWS IAM role. So if you know the user administration, it will be very easy, guys. It will be very easy. Now you understand what is a user, what is a group, right? The same policies are there in the IAM. The same policies are there in the IAM. Guys, did you create your account, right? Account on AWS? Who are not done? Gopi? Gopi came to Hyderabad. Gopinath. PK created. Habiban? Habiban?
చేశాను కానీ కొంచెం పేమెంట్ దగ్గర ఇష్యూ వచ్చిందన్న నేను అది మళ్ళీ
Hmm.
బ్యాక్ వెళ్ళిపోయింది సెట్ చేసుకోవాలి.
Hmm.
యా సెట్ చేస్తా ఈ రోజు సెట్ చేస్తా.
Hmm. Habiban create చేయలేదుగా Habiban
ఎస్ అన్నా.
క్రియేట్ చేసావా?
ఆ,
EC2 లాంచ్ చేసావా? Yeah, guys. So introduction to identity and access management. What is IAM? IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. So what it is in the global infrastructure, AWS global infrastructure. So what are the foundation services? What are the you guys can remember this one if it will be very easy, guys. If you know the services, the foundation services, yeah, the global infrastructure. So here, what is that? So AWS Global Infrastructure, these all are the foundation services. So if you want to connect with this AWS, we need a IAM and a access, identity and access management. So deployment and management purpose, this is the layer is using identity and access management. Okay. So what is that management and administration? So this is the administration console and the identity and access. We have two types of consoles. So one is administration controls console and the identity and access console. Okay. So administration console and identity and access consoles. We have two types of consoles, right? Introduction to identity and access management, understanding the IAM. Guys, IAM is different, AMI is different. Imagine mission image, that is IAM is nothing but identity and access management. Understanding IAM console, creating and managing security group, creating and managing users, managing the user passwords and the security key, and creating and managing roles, understanding and managing policies, understanding multi-user authentication, user login process. What is that? User login process. All the user information will be available in the identity and access management. So when you have to know the IAM, it looks like same as a user administration in the Linux machine. If you know the user administration in the Linux, it will be very easy in the IAM, identity and access management. What is IAM? IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. IAM is a web services. IAM is a web services that enables you to manage users and groups permissions in AWS. What is that? IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. Guys, repeat. What is IAM? IAM stands for
ఐడెంటిటీ అండ్ యాక్సెస్ మేనేజ్మెంట్.
yeah, how we can access, how we can identify that AWS, how we can access. So IAM is a web services. This is also a web services that enable you to manage users and group permissions in AWS. So who will manage group permissions, user permissions in the Linux, guys? A user administration, right? The same like as a here. IAM is a web service, same like as a EC2, same like as a RDS, same like as a VPC, same like as a S3. These all are the service. Where IAM also a web service that enables you to manage user and group permissions in AWS. It is targeted at organization with multiple users. It is targeted at organizations with multiple users or systems that use AWS products such as Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Amazon Relational Database Service, and Amazon Management Console. It is a targeted at organization with multiple users or systems. So multiple users or systems that use AWS products. Right. If you want to connect with that service, I need, for example, developer needs only EC2 access. The database engineers needs only RDS access. The network engineers only needs VPC access. Right. How we can segregate that, how we can create the users, and how we can give that permissions, particular permission to that user will handled by the IAM. So IAM is targeted organization with multiple users array systems that use AWS products such as Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Amazon Relational Databases, and the AWS Management Console. So why we go for IAM? To avoid a security and logistical headache. For example, if you give the root access to the IAM, root access to the developer, what he will do? He will log into the server and he will delete everything. Right. For example, networking guy. Why do we need to give all the permissions to the networking guy? Why do we need to give the all the permissions to the database guys? Right. So we need to give a particular resources or particular services to a particular people. That is nothing but a IAM. So for the security and the logistical headache, to avoid a security and the logistical headache, because of when you create a AWS account, when you create an AWS account, it has a permission to do anything and everything with all the resources. So when you create an AWS account, it has the permissions to do anything and everything with all the resources. IAM allows you to limit access. What is that? IAM allows you to limit access based on something like a normal user. In the user administration, normal user will access only the will execute only the bin commands. A root user can execute both bin and sbin commands. IAM allows you to limit access as needed. It gives you to that peace of mind that approved people are accessing the right resources in the desired manner. Like so desired manner. So what is like that? So what this is? This is a IAM. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. Same like as a user administration. Okay. So for example, who are there? What is that? So developers, DBA people, DBA guys, and the cloud administrators, for example. Okay. This developer needs only access to the particular resources. What resources, guys? The resources is okay. What this is? This is DBA access. This is okay. So what we need as a service? What service we need to provide? We need to provide the EC2 service. It is EC2 service access. RDS service access, and here EC2 full access, RDS full access, VPC full access. Okay. So right, based on the users, so it will avoid the security concerns. It will avoid the headache. It will avoid the headache. Guys, understood? The DBA people will give the access to the RDS, and developer will give the access to the ECS service, and so this administrator can have the EC2 RDS and VPC services. So a group can have contains a one or a multiple. A developer can have a people can have a one group or a multiple services access. So what these days, guys? Users, you already know the users. Groups, you already know the groups, right? Policies. What is that? So policy is nothing but a service. So if you assign the services to a people, so that is nothing but a policies. What is that? The policy should be a EC2, right? The policy should be a RDS. The policy should be a VPC, right? Understood. These all are the policies. So policies are attached to the group or policies are attached to the users. So role. What is the role? I will tell you. Okay. Guys, now you understood? IAM is easy or not, guys?
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. So IAM allows you to limit access as needed and gives you to peace of mind that approved people accessing the right resources in the desired manner. Right. Why we go for IAM? IAM will allow us to create multiple users with individual security. IAM will allow us to create a multiple users with individual security credentials and permissions. With this IAM, each user is allowed to only what they need to do. What they need to do. For example, this guy having EC2, this guy having S3 and VPC, this guy having storage and VP3. Why we go for IAM? Each user is in AWS account have a unique set of credentials to access the console. Each user in AWS, each user in AWS account must have a unique set of credentials to access the console. IAM. So define different types of users have different set of permissions. So administrators, system operation users, and developers. So administrators need to access all the AWS resources. Okay. Developers need only the access of Amazon EC2 Compute Cloud. Okay, Amazon Compute Cloud. So we can use IAM to create a unique user for each employee and define their permissions. Permissions. A daily administrator, Bob system operational, Dev developers. Right. What is a group? A group is a collection of IAM users. What is a group, guys? A group is a collection of IAM users. After you set permissions in a group, after you set permissions on a group, those permissions are set to all the users in the group. So after you set the permissions in a group, those permissions are those permissions are set to all users in the group. Even if we create a user, we need to use the groups to set the permissions. We need to manage access for a number if the groups instead of managing access for every individual user. So individual user also we can access the right, creating a group, assigning a group, attach policies, group, yeah, user creation, user password creation, right? That uh, that developer access key. Okay, we'll show you. Okay, I will tell you guys what this is. This is the AWS console. So you log into the AWS console and What is that? IAM. IAM is nothing but a manage access to the AWS resources. Manage access to the AWS resources. One user is created on April 17th. Deleting this user, please. Confirm, delete user. Okay, the same like as user add, you can create the user, right? So something like a group. So is there any groups? DevOps group is there. Delete that group. DevOps. Right. Now there is no user. This user is specific, is not specific to any region. This IAM is a global. This IAM is a global. You see, guys, this is a so global. This is not a specific to a region. So whenever you create the user and that group, right, it will be used on any region, any region. This IAM is not specific to any region. It's a global entity, global identity. Okay. So something like user group, create a group. What is the group name, guys? Group name is, so for example, DevOps group. What is the add user to this group? This is the optional. An IAM user is an entity that create an AWS represent the person or application that uses to interact with the AWS. Okay, I did not created anything. So you see, guys, policies, attach permission to the policies. Okay, what are the permissions? So you can attach it in that permission. So that group will assign only that. So I have administrator access. So easy to full access. What is that, guys? So EC2 full access, RDS full access. What is that? Only EC2 administrator in remote EC2 full access. EC2 full access. We have a EC2 full access. That group DevOps group. Okay. Create a user group. A user group is created. The user group contains the users, no users, permissions. That EC2 full access, access advisor. Okay. Yeah, permissions, EC2 full access and user, nothing is there. Okay. So add users, you can add users here or edit or delete. Okay. Okay, DevOps is the group. Now you can create a user. What is a user? So the user is, guys, Luzetech is the user. Provide user access to the AWS management console. So if you want to provide user access to the AWS management console, you want to access the AWS management console? Yes, the BlueJeTech wants to console the access the AWS console. And are you providing the console access to a person? Use type. Specify a user to identify to the identity center recommended. If you want to create a IAM user, just specify the user entity. Is understood? IAM user. Can you go to the IAM users? Create a user. Username is we created right. BlueJeTech. Provide the access. Specify the identity recommended. I want to create the IAM user. So generate the password or confirm the password. Generate the password. or confirm, we can create our own custom password. Okay. User must create a new password in the next sign in. Okay. So if you want to add any permissions to the user, to the group, to the user, or directly attach with the permissions. I'm adding this guy into the DevOps user. Okay. Yeah, this is the file and CSV file download. Yes, understood, right? So that BlueJTech user is created. The BlueJTech user is created. So in the user, what we can do? So we can create the password, normal password, and so we can create the developer user key and secret key. What is that? Developer user key and the secret key. So this is the BlueJTech. Here you see. So what are the access? We have IAM full access and identity user management access. So what is this group? So groups is DevOps groups. DevOps, right? Groups. Added tools we already added, right? Tags, nothing. Security credentials. Yeah, assigning a multi-factor authentication, access keys, and Amazon API keys. Mm. Right, SSH public key access and HTTP access, gate credentials, and how we can connect this server. We can connect this server through access keys. Okay, guys, understood? Yeah, users will create it and password. So we need to create the password also, right? A user created the user and password is not added. Understood? Yeah. So what is that? BlueJTech is the username. So credentials, if you go to the credentials, console sign in. How you can sign in through the console? So this is the identity access. Okay. What this is? This is guys. You understood? So this is the IAM user login. This is the ID of IAM user. What is the username? What is the password? The username and password you can provide whatever we provided, right? That user account ID, it will be same as your account ID. Okay. So we can connect via through this also. What is the username? BlueJTech. We set the password. Still not set the password for the BlueJTech user. Yes, understood?
Yes, Anna.
Yeah, guys. So, yep. Now you understood the user, user and group. So what is that? User will create the password. So we'll connect the console account and create the password, and we can create the passwords. 1 second, please. BlueJTech GWPH6. Okay. Fees 058 666. If that user details, username, password, right? What is the username? Username is Luciate. Provide a user access to the AWS console. Yes. Right? AM. One group is created, one user is created, 11 roles are created. Zero policy, zero identifies. Okay. Guys. So user groups. These are DevOps groups. DevOps groups having a user called as a blue tech permission. What is the permission? Policy and access advisor. These are DevOps. This is the users. User is created blue tech. Okay. So blue tech having the permissions. DevOps. So this DevOps having whatever the permissions are there, right? DevOps are those permissions will get to the normal user. Okay. What is the uh, tax security credentials? So in the security credentials, so what is that management console access? What is this, guys? Management console access. So you want to console connect the management console. You can connect so this way we already showed, right? The next one is multi-factor authentication. So what is multi-factor authentication? You need to enable the multi-factor authentication for selecting the two passwords while opening the console. While opening the console, because of if you know the password, right? Someone can hack that password and it will be very easy to access your website and delete your username. The same like as a uh, Gautami. So same like as so this is a console. So this console is something like so management console. We can access through this console and multi-factor authentication. We will provide the two types of authentications. So one is a password authentication. The other one is a authenticator app. You guys can install the authenticator app and we can connect with the multi-factor authentication. So access keys. So what is the access keys, guys? Use access keys to send programmatic calls to the AWS or from AWS CLI. So how you can connect the how do you can connect the AWS console in two ways. So one is AWS cloud and another one is AWS. So AWS console access. So the other one is AWS CLI access. AWS CLI means we need to connect through the CLI. CLI means what they will provide. They will provide the access key and secret key. If they provide the access key and secret key, you can connect to that server and and uh, and do the something like right. So this is a access key and secret key. Access key. So access key and secret key for the Terraform. So infrastructure as a code, right? So if you want to build the infra through as a code, definitely we need a Terraform user. Definitely we need a Terraform user. So API. So SSH keys, SSH public keys for AWS commit code. So we can use the SSH key to connect with the public code also. Okay, HTTPS Git. So HTTPS get credentials to the code base credentials. So XIM. These are not related to. So these all are the happy but okay. Yeah. So this is nothing but a user programmatic access key. What is that? So here guide. So what is that? A command line interface? Do you plan to use this access key and to enable AWS CLI to access your AWS account? Okay. You see, guys. So this is the access key and secret key. How we can connect through programmatic to the commands. So we don't need an intervention to do the all the things. Who will do it? So that will do it by the people. So right. So we can create the access key and secret key, and how we can connect to that connect to the services. Yes, understood. Yes,
Yes, sir.
understood.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Right. This is a user and group policies. Policies is a right. Attach the attachment is nothing but a policies. If you want to attach any policy, so you can attach it. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. So we'll continue from tomorrow. So we'll take more time, guys, tomorrow. Okay. We'll show
Yes,
you
sir.
the group. We'll show you the group. We already discussed about the group and users, right? Policies. We can attach the policies is nothing but a services to the group. Services to the group, and we'll close it tomorrow. That I am. Okay.
Okay.